Soil School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by the Mosaic Company.
Hi, I'm Bernard Tobin. Welcome to the Soil School. Today I'm in Drummond, New Brunswick to talk potatoes with Mosaic agronomist Cam Blackford. Cam, how's it going?
Oh, going good. Yeah, thanks, Bernard. Looking forward to talking with you today about potatoes in New Brunswick.
Hey, I want to talk about something we were discussing off screen, and that is crop nutrition and fertilizer availability. And you said, in this field, 50% of the yield really comes from fertilizer inputs, but 60% of the nutrients are actually unavailable. Tell me, what's happening in the soil?
Okay, well, yeah, it's no secret that, farmers add fertilizer to help with yield, but sometimes they don't know how much of that yield is due to that fertilizer. You can plant this same field, same potatoes, same genetics without fertilizer. You get fewer potatoes, smaller potatoes, and your yield would be reduced by 50%. And so the nutrients you apply, you think, okay, I'm applying this fertilizer, that'll help. And it does. But the fertilizer you're applying, only about 60% of that is immediately available to the crops. The rest can be lost through runoff or volatilization or leaching, and but a lot of it is actually immobilized in the soil. It gets bound up to the organic matter, to the soil particles. Particularly phosphorus is one of those really immobile nutrients. So when you apply your phosphorus, 60% is not going to be available to the plant. It's going to be immobilized, and it will be gradually released over time, but a lot of it is just going to be stuck there, not available to the plant right away.
Now, why is it so important, to increase, nutrient efficiency? I know, environmental is a big consideration, but, we've got yield, quality, and economics, right?
Yeah, potato farming, about $1 in every 5 goes to fertilizer. And so you want to make sure that fertilizer you're applying is actually getting to that plant. You want those nutrients to be available to the plant right away. If it's immobilized, it's not going to be available to the plant.
Now, Cam, today we hear a lot about biologicals and, the impact they can have. What role can they play, and I guess, in unlocking nutrients?
Okay, so like I talked about before, phosphorus in particular is bound up in the soil, in the organic matter. And there's, all fields have natural bacterial populations, and what they do is they gradually break down the soil, break down the organic matter, freeing up those nutrients. But it can be a slow process. So through the use of commercial biological products, you can greatly speed that up. You can flood the field with these bacteria that are, they colonize the roots of the plants, they secrete these acids, they break up those bonds to the organic matter, to the soil particles, and making that phosphorus or all other nutrients, calcium, magnesium, making those freeing up, and so the plants can just readily uptake them, and so those nutrients can then be utilized by the plants.
Yeah. Now you and Mosaic have been doing a lot of work with biologicals, obviously, in the last few years. Hey, what are you trying to achieve?
Well, what we're trying to do, Mosaic is a fertilizer company, and our goal is to make sure that growers have the nutrients they need to make sure that their crops can grow and yield successfully. So the biologicals is just sort of a next step. You can add it with your fertilizer and make sure that fertilizer you're applying, you like to use the term return on fertilizer investment. So we want to show that the fertilizer you're applying, as we've just been talking about, is going to get to that plant. And through the use of these biologicals, you can apply it with the fertilizer, or you can just apply it, in a variety of ways. But those organisms will get in there, make that fertilizer that you're spending money on. That's, like I said, 50% of your yield is due to that. And so we want to make sure that those nutrients are available to the plant, and these biologicals will help with that.
Yeah. A biological that Mosaic's been working with and growers have been using for the last couple of years, BioPath. Tell us about that product and, and I guess the experience you've had with it.
Okay. So, yeah, BioPath, Mosaic has various products that all kind of work the same way. I was talking about these, bacteria that colonize the rhizosphere. BioPath is our liquid formulation designed to be applied with liquid fertilizers. So it's a water-based microbial. You add it to your fertilizer, spray it in as you would, and that's gonna those bacteria will then colonize that rhizosphere, and the fertilizer you're applying is going to be more available, and any other nutrients that are bound up are also going to be more available.
So Cam, just a little bit more on that. What type of results are you seeing in the field?
Yeah, so we see when we apply your biopath, your microbials at planting, you get quicker emergence, you get more uniform emergence, and then as the progresses, you see larger plants, larger root systems, and then it turns into greater yield. You have more tubers, about 0.7 greater tubers per hill. You see more marketable yield. So you have fewer culls, you have fewer of the small potatoes, and more of those potatoes that are in that marketable zone.
So do you see more and more growers using biologicals? You know, what are you hearing back from, from growers?
Yeah, I mean, the use of all microbials are increasing for a variety of reasons. Greater technology, just greater interest, greater education. And so right now, maybe like 2 in 10 growers are using biologicals. But, about 70% of growers are interested and want to use them.
Cam, what do you tell growers about, I guess, the logistics of fitting a biological into their program? What do they need to consider?
Well, they need to consider how well I can get this biological into my field. Do I have to do a special pass? Do I need special equipment? Our products, you don't need to do that. You can just apply it with your fertilizer in the same pass. You can apply it with an herbicide. You can apply it through the irrigation. So there are a variety of ways to get it in, so you can fit it into your system. And our products, there's no special storage conditions. You don't need to refrigerate it. You can just stick it in your shed with everything else. It'll be fine in hot weather and cold weather. And we have a long shelf life. You don't need to use it right away. You can keep it in for about 2 years, and the population of the biological is still going to be at an efficacious level after 2 years of storage.
Final question for you, tips for growers. I mean, what's the best way to get in here? Should we be running a trial on the farm to see where it fits, get a feel for biologicals?
It's probably good to try it first, see how's the best way to apply it in your system. Do you want to do it with your fertilizer? Do you want to apply it some other way? And just see how it works in your soil. It's not going to be the same as an herbicide or a pesticide where you're going to spray it and see a dead plant. They work slower, but you're going to see it in the yield. When you dig them up there, you're going to see that difference in the size and the uniformity and the bigger root growth of the plants.
Good stuff. Cam, appreciate you making some time for the Soil School here in Drummond, New Brunswick. Appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks a lot, Bernard. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Glad I could teach you a little bit about biologicals in potatoes.
Perfect.